So in step 2 we balanced all our ledgers. That enables us to create the trial balance above, and we can see all the debits equal 98,481 and so do all the credits. So that's a good sign that we've got everything correct. What we need to do now though is turn them into financial reports. So we'll start with the income statement and the revenues. Revenues always have credit balances, so I'm only going to look on the credit side, and I can see here I've got one revenue called sales of 10,750. So I'm going to put that in my income statement. I'll then take out the expense called cost of sales. That's always going to be a debit, so I'll write that in, and that'll give me what's called my gross profit of 5,230. The next section will be the other expenses section. So I've got less other expenses. I know expenses are debits, so in this case I've got petrol, advertising and stationery. I don't need to look on the credit side, I can just look at the debits and say that's those three there. I use the first column for the number, and then I total them up in the second for a total of 660. And that's my completed income statement so far. So I've got a gross profit of 5,230, total other expenses of 660, and that's a net profit of 4,570. We now do the balance sheet. So we'll start with our current assets. Assets have debit balances, so in this case I'm only going to look on the left hand side. So I'm going to look at cash at bank, debtors, stock and prepaid insurance. List those numbers in the first column and total them in the second. Under non-current assets, that only leaves vehicle, so we'll put that in. And remember, we're just trying to tick off all the items in the trial balance. They have to go on either the income statement or the balance sheet. They can't not go in. So we're slowly ticking off all our items here and have our non-current asset as vehicle. That'll move us on to current liabilities. So liabilities have credit balances. So in this case we've got creditors and GST. So we'll put those in. Then we have our non-current liabilities. We've only left with loan and capitals are known as equity accounts. So that'll just leave the loan. And then finally we need to do the owner's equity section. We've still got to use the capital figure and the drawings figure. So we start with capital. It was 62,550. What we need to do now is add in from the income statement our net profit. So our net profit was 4,570. So we'll add that in, and that'll give us a total of 67,120. Taking us back to the trial balance, we've only got one number left, which is drawings of 700. We subtract that away because they decrease owner's equity, and that'll give us a final owner's equity balance of 66,420. There's our final balance sheet. We just need to add up our asset side. So in this case we've got current assets of 53,601 and non-current of 38 for a total of 91,601. And then we're going to add up our current liabilities, non-current liabilities and our owner's equity, and that'll give us total equities of 91,601.